Hey there, are we live? Director here at the Lawrence Art Center. It's Final Friday, 2020, October. Yeah, we're here again without any people, except for Jeremy Rockwell, who's holding the camera there. We thought we'd do a virtual tour for a couple of new exhibits that we have that have opened up just now. The Art Center is open. We still have safety procedures in place for those, for anybody who would come in. There are capacity limitations within the spaces, but you know, we're opening up a couple of shows right now that'll be open through the end of December, and I hope that this little thing helps entice you to come in and check out the shows themselves. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, which is totally understandable, you'll be able to check out the exhibitions online on our website, lawrenceartcenter.org. We'll have a virtual tour next week. We have all sorts of supplemental information about these two exhibits, and hopefully be able to check those out as well. So thank you for tuning in, if there's anybody tuned in out there. We're in the large gallery at the Lawrence Art Center in Lawrence, Kansas. Lindy Chambers, or Patricia Chambers, has a show called Hidden from View that is, I don't know, how many paintings do we have here? 35? No, 30. Big paintings that are all sort of connected to scenes from trailer parks. Lindy is an artist that lives in Belleville, Texas, which is just outside of Houston. And Lindy, like our other artist who's exhibiting here tonight, Lora Jost, applied to have an exhibition here at the Lawrence Art Center. So people ask all the time, like, how do these shows come about? And here's a great example of two artists who wrote a proposal to the Art Center about an idea they had, and here we are, you know, sometime later. So we're going to talk about these two shows, give you a little bit of a taste of what's in the space. In the middle of this whole production tonight, we've got an interview with Marla Jackson, who's a local artist who has a new book out, and I got to chat with her a couple days ago, and so we're gonna show that conversation about midway through. So we got about 30 or 45 minutes. If you've got any questions, type it away. I'm sure I can answer anything that's on your mind. Anyway, so with that, we're gonna walk around this gallery. If you've got questions, fire away. If not, I'm just gonna do my best to tell you what's in the room. Behind me here is a piece that we've been using for our publicity. It's a piece that's about 5 years old. Like I said, Lindy's work, a lot of it depicts life in a sort of rural community of sorts. It's all sort of trailer park, and from her writing about what she makes, a lot of it has to do with the trailer parks that she's around down in South Texas, where there is sort of a migratory way of living down there, and she's, as her title suggests, you know, depicting things that are hidden from view. So I think of these things as landscapes, sort of dystopian landscapes. And like I said, we've got a lot of paintings in the space, and they span about 5 or 6 years that the artist worked on these. This piece over here is one of the newer pieces, and I don't know, it's you know, Jeremy and I get to work with all sorts of artists from all over the world, and we get to handle these things, and we get to live with them intensely for about a week, and looking at and thinking about what their intent was, or and also what we're getting out of the works. Like, a lot of the new works have a much darker tone than works that were made, you know, 3, 4, 5 years ago, and I think it's been really notable to look through the amount of work that Lindy provided for this show, and think about everything that we are all experiencing, right now, and how that might affect an artist's approach to making. So I think of the paintings, when you come into the space, you'll definitely see a handful of pieces that have the sort of overlay of black or very dark blues and purples, and the dystopian aura is really amplified in the new works. That sounded very art school, didn't it? But it's there. Like the people are blank. I really think it's about the environment and the space in which these people live. So I like how all of these different approaches to the very similar subject matter are all kind of coming together in one space. And these pieces are big, and this is one of the larger pieces here. This is 60 inches square, and this is a piece from 2018 of Lindy's. And I personally really dig this way she treats the background, this sort of camouflage patterning that she does. She's done this in a couple of other paintings too, where it's really, to me, it's more about what's happening in the foreground, so that's the important part that's going on here. So she just sort of puts that stamp, that camouflage stamp on the background. But the most precious thing about this whole piece, to me, is this guy and this guy, these two dogs looking at each other, one in a pen, and then, one that's the observer. But there's a blue dog and there's a red dog. And one is behind a fence and one is out in the open. I don't know if there's any story there to be had. But anyway, the beautiful part of this thing is the title is called Friends. And I dig that. Anyway, I'll let Jeremy sort of pan around the space so you get a sense of the volume of works that we have here. And it also gives me a chance to get a drink. So the largest piece that we have here is this diptych called Lamb Land, from 2018. So she sent far more works than we were able to accommodate, which is great. It's a great problem to have as the folks who have to put a show together. But I really love the density, and I love that you'll see lambs or goats and goats throughout the gallery in different pieces, and that's what you'll see in trailer parks in Texas. I'm not really sure what the lambs or the sheep are there for. It could be food, could be pets. I don't know, but you see them sprinkled throughout many of the compositions here. But the bottom line is it's damn good painting. Don't forget to put those questions in if you got them. And then we'll come around to the south side of the room. This piece, called Kid Toy, is one that Jeremy and I keyed in on when we were looking at the works as they came in. It's one of her newer pieces, and I think the things that I love about it are its simplicity in relation to some of the other compositions, which have a lot going on. But it's pretty sparse and it's pretty clean. I love the dudes over there working on the pickup truck, and the sort of blankness of the building. So the key features in this piece would be the toy, and then the guys who are consumed with what they're doing over there. Another thing you'll notice, as I talked about earlier, the variation with Lindy's work is her use of material, like this piece that Jeremy's sort of getting in on the detail, like it's really thick paint. And for those who really respond to like seeing the evidence of the maker's hand, like this is definitely a show to check out, because she is not shy with the material. I love being able to go into an exhibition and have surprises, but have a variation in what you might find. A couple of the other these pieces in the corner, maybe we'll be able to talk about a little bit. These are some of the newer works from 2020, 2019. These two specifically, I think I think they're fun. I think there's a mix of, there's some darkness to it, literally, like, you know, the heavy black that she's using, but it's about, you know, people existing and engaging with other people in this environment, which I don't think we always think about in terms of trailer parks. And there's a monkey in there, of course. And then there's this piece from 2020 that's called Intermission, and it's a drive-in theater. The playground that they sometimes have in the drive-in theater. What's the drive-in theater in Kansas City, Jeremy?
Boulevard.
Boulevard. We went there not long ago and saw a drive-in. Anyway, I immediately thought about that experience and why we were there in the first place. Because I haven't been to a drive-in movie since I was probably 8 years old. But yeah, what a unique experience to be able to play a playground in front of a giant movie screen. But I don't know, it's fun. It's also mysterious. It's got nostalgia. And it's got some activity going on, and it's got a lot of humans around one another, which seems rare these days. And I want to say Marla Angel is directing this whole thing, so she's keeping us on task. So if you don't know Marla Angel, you should. Anyway, we're going to round it out here pretty soon. We're going to show the video from Marla Jackson. But hopefully you got a good sense of, or at least a taste of Patricia Chambers' show, Hidden from View, that'll be up through December 21st. She won't be here. We don't have any talks planned with her. Like I said, she lives down in Texas. But we're really happy to have her work here. And, you know, we've been thinking about it and talking about it amongst ourselves about, you know, on this wall just a week ago was the big whale that seemed to register with a lot of people. And it was bittersweet to send that along to the next place. But what a great sort of jolt to have all this color and this subject matter and this energy and these ideas being expressed by another artist. That's the cool thing about the Art Center, is there's always going to be somebody else coming along that's got a new idea and a different voice and a different way to tell it. So that's part of why I love being here. But right now, I think we'll turn it over to the interview that we had with Marla just a couple days ago, and then we'll come back and talk about Lora Jost's new show right after that. So stay tuned. Hey, Marla Jackson, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Ben. How are you?
I'm pretty good. It's really good to see your face.
Oh, thank you. It's been a while.
It has been.
It's been a while.
Well, I hope you're safe and sound wherever you're at. And I want to thank you for coming on. You know, we're doing this thing on Final Friday, and I heard you've got an exciting project that you're working on or have worked on. It's ready to go. And tell me about what you're doing. You've got a new book. How did this all start?
Well, actually, it started when Faith Ringgold, her first time visiting my museum in 2017, and she walked around looking at my quilts. And at the end, she said, "Little girl, where's your book?" And I said, "I don't have one." "What do you mean you don't have a book?" I said, "I don't think I'm good enough." She says, "Little girl, I'm going to give you 6 months to get this book done. Then I'm going to write your foreword." And I said, "Yes, ma'am."
You always say
And
yes to Faith Ringgold.
oh, it's like she's the queen, you know. You got those kind of people that you had in your life too.
Yep.
So you know what that means. So she inspired me. She said, "Little girl, anyone can fly." She said, "But you can soar."
That's awesome. Well, that's
So I
high
gotta do-
praise.
Yeah.
That's high praise. We've chatted about this book a little bit, and it really is kind of your story told through quilts, but you've kind of collected years of stories into this thing, and maybe share a couple of those stories.
This book's titled Sankofa, Lessons Learned, which is from the Tweak language in Ghana, which means go back and fetch. When you look at that quilt, it was also inspired by Aaron Douglas. I was asked by the Spencer Museum to develop some work. So this is what I came up with. My mother and my two sisters, and I took the image as the bird faces and gave myself the cowrie shell, because of course I had all the knowledge. And I had the blue leg bringing up the new birth, which represent water. But the book is actually about slavery. It's about from the beginning. It's the three transitions coming on the middle passage. You know, they made it through slavery. Now we're in the Jim Crow era, and I got Nina Simone. I even got Marcus Garvey in there, you know, and James Baldwin, and Ma Rainey, and ladies, you know, Lady Day, Diane, I'm sorry, Billie Holiday.
Yeah.
She's in there. Then I take it off from Jim Crow to folklore, and that's where I got had a lot of visual conversations with my great grandmother, who was born in 1873, and I just would visualize and write stories for her, but it wasn't really writing as I remember, because it was very difficult for me to write with a child with a learning disability. So I drew pictures and things, you know, sending these stories and just from her words. And so I tried to give you the best of me and acknowledge everybody who's been there for me, and I appreciate it. And I have my own hosting site, so you can actually purchase the book at marlajackson.com. That's ARNA. So
Awesome. Yeah, we'll be sure to add a link when we publish this thing on Final Friday.
thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you. I think the book sounds great, and any stories you have to tell are good stories, in my opinion. So I'm looking forward to seeing the book myself.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
You know, I'm working on my second book,
of course you
so
are.
that'll be out. You said, of course I am. I found a new love. I faced my greatest fear. Fear, you know, so thank you.
Awesome.
Thank the
Thank
Lawrence
you.
Art Center always being there for me. I love you guys. And you guys have a good day.
All right, we're back live. You enjoyed that little conversation we had with Marla. Marla's one of my favorite people in this whole town, and she's the founder of the African American Quilt Convention, which has happened here in Lawrence, and we were lucky enough to be a part of that here at the Art Center with Marla. And yeah, check out that book. I think it's going to be great. So in the last gallery, we talked about Lindy Chambers' show, and there were some questions that came in. One from my mom, thanks for watching, Mom. And then actually one from the artist who we're getting ready to talk about, Lora Jost, who lives here in Lawrence, Kansas. And Lora had asked a question about Lindy living or her involvement with trailer parks. And what Lindy has said is that she moved a couple of times as a young person and lived next to a trailer park and had never been around a trailer park in her life before, and talked about the interactions not only with the people that lived there, but the precautions that some of her family members were sort of providing her before going there, preconceptions about places like that. And I think we've got a great catalog here of that has an interview with Lindy in it. So when you're in, you can check that out. But I would also encourage you to take a look at her website, which is pretty rich with more detail than we would be able to provide. So Lora, thanks for asking, and thanks for showing. Lora Jost is a Lawrencian and has this great show of works that span about 6 years, but most of it's pretty new. For those of you who don't, if there was anything you might know about Lora, is that she's got this really beautiful mural at the Free State Brewing Company, which is right here on Massachusetts Street in downtown Lawrence. As you're going up the stairs, that's hers. I might have just revealed a little too much about myself. I've seen that mural many, many times. But Lora's got a great show. She's laying it all out there right out of the gate with the title, which is Sound the Climate Alarm, which everything in the gallery space is connected to in one way or another. Jeremy's showing you, that's a portrait of Lora that's new. She's all masked up. Lora also teaches here at the Lawrence Art Center. She, the level of detail that you're going to find in her pieces is pretty rich. And she's also mixing up mediums. She does a lot of scratchboard. She does a lot of pen and ink and gouache. She's also doing mosaics, like I referred to the Free State Brewing Company's mosaic. But this is one that's here. The range of detail in there is pretty sharp. And again, I think we have about 30 pieces in here as well. Lora's statement about the work that's in this exhibition is really just what it says in the title. Everything is pointing back to the alarm that she wants us to think about. Lora's going to be here to talk about her work on 3 different occasions. Check out our website for details. It's all free, totally free, thanks to Truity. But you need to sign up ahead of time so that we don't reach our max capacity. But let's walk around and take a look at a few different things. So something you'll find in a piece like this is called Phoenix Rising, which is mixed media. She's layering in many pieces of information within there. So there's a lot of depth within the flat work. So you'll find that in a piece like this, and then come on down to the next one, and this is a pencil and gouache. And for anybody who's worked with either one of those mediums, you'll see right away the level of detail is pretty astonishing. This piece is called Light. So obviously motifs of, wind turbines, birds, power lines, light bulbs, more birds, the sun. I think what I've seen in the few days I've been able to spend with this show is she's really integrating a lot of the ideas about what has happened, where we are, what can be done. But I think a piece like that really is bundling up a lot of that information. This is one of my favorite pieces, not just because I'm from St. Louis and I love the St. Louis Cardinals, but it's really beautifully executed. But it's called Death with Cardinals. And it's a fountain pen. That she did that with. And then Jeremy, I wanted to scroll down here. You made a comment about this the other day when Laura was in the room. You know, the two galleries that we're talking about tonight. There's an opening between those spaces. So this piece is called Skateboarders, and they won't be able to see it, but when you go down, there's a skateboarder in the other room, all the way down at the other room. See how we tie everything together here at the Art Center? This is the corner, Laura did this. She was in here the other day and composed the origami and the drawings of the cranes, which you'll see those images sort of mirrored in other places throughout the space. So this piece, Cranes Over a Fence, again, the origami crane. I think this fence, sort of barbed wire fence, could be a reference to, well, hell, what are fences for? They're keeping something in or keeping something out. So that's definitely, and I think I know where she's going with that. This piece is Cardinal Spring. It was made last year. I think it's a really strong piece. I like the motif of the cardinal that's singing and trying to illustrate, patterns or the sounds that the bird would be making. I think cardinals have a distinct call. I really love that sort of boastful, proud, confident way that bird seems to be sitting there for everyone to hear, and it's executed really beautifully. Another part of Laura's show is she has these prints that are here up on this pedestal. You can come in, when you come into the show, and thumb through. They're all loose and can be purchased. I should say any of these works in this space or the other one can be purchased. Imagine that. You can buy things that people actually made with their hands, and you can live with it for the rest of your life. Both Lindy Chambers' show and this show, almost all of the works are for sale, and the artists make money to feed themselves, and the Art Center gets to stay open one more day. All good things. So, yeah, be sure to support your local artists. On this wall, there's a little grouping here of some really exquisite small pieces that Laura has put together that are more straightforward, fun animals, cats and birds. We're not showing 13. All right. Well, that about wraps up the tour here in this gallery. These two shows they'll run through the end of the year, December 21st. The Art Center is open Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and then 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. on the weekends. We've always been a free gallery and we'll always do that. It's like I said, given all the COVID-related considerations, I think the Art Center is doing a really good job with keeping people safe and being considerate of space and safety. And so if you have any questions at all, just give us a call or shoot us an email. But these shows are free. I think they're important and they're good, a good thing to have. To see art in person now, I think, is a good thing. And I'm going to check in with Marla to see if there's anything.
A lot of love for Lora.
A lot of love for Lora, as we would expect. And my mom wants to know if we're open for Thanksgiving, which is code for what has been doing for Thanksgiving, but that's a different episode. So thanks, Mom. Anyway, come to the Lawrence Art Center tomorrow morning. See both of these shows and stay tuned with all the other programming that we've got going on here. And thank you again for taking the time, and we hope to see you soon.